Welcome to 805 Focus. I'm Dr. Cinder Sinclair with Nonprofit Connect, and we will be bringing you the latest on your favorite nonprofits. So get ready to be inspired. Our special guest today is Cassie Lancaster, and Cassie is Executive Director and co-founder of Mission Scholars. Welcome, Cassie.
Thank you, Cinder. Thank you for having me.
Oh gosh, Mission Scholars, you folks are doing such good work. I've read about you, I've heard about you, and now I'd love for you to tell us more about Mission Scholars.
Thank you. So Mission Scholars works with local, high-achieving, low-income students who dream of going to a four-year university and graduating from that university. So we work with about 30 students per cohort now, and beginning in their sophomore year of high school, and we work with them all the way through college graduation. So when they're in high school, we focus exclusively on the prospect of preparing for and applying to college, affording the college experience, making sure they graduate as debt-free as possible, and then when they're in college, we provide a ton of resources and support around the college transition, college success, and then professional development, because the vast majority of them want to come back to Santa Barbara and thrive in careers here in town. So we're focusing on ultimately building a community that will then help the community of Santa Barbara one day as well.
Wow, that's quite an amazing endeavor. So, okay, 30 students. And I love it that you start in high school.
30 each group. So we have
30 in each group.
That's right.
So how many groups then?
So we started about 5 years ago with a cohort of just 10, a pilot program.
Oh, golly.
They're now seniors in college. And
Seniors in
I know,
college.
it's very exciting. Our first cohort will be graduating this year. Cannot wait. And our youngest cohort, we'll have 30 sophomores this year. So we currently have 127 students because we've been increasing every year as our capacity has grown as well.
I see.
Yes.
So you start working with them when they're sophomores or juniors?
When they're sophomores, that's right.
When they're sophomores. And so how does, how do they get connected with Mission Scholars?
We have great partnerships and relationships with both Santa Barbara Unified School District's counselors and teachers, and Carpinteria Unified's Carp High School's counselors and teachers as well. And we also have been developing partnerships with other local community-based organizations who serve similar demographic. And so every time we put out an application, we do our program coordinators and we'll present on Mission Scholars, and then our older scholars will also come and talk about their experience, and then we have a very rigorous application process it sort of echoes the college application process. So they have to submit a transcript, a resume. They have to write essays, they have to conduct an interview. It's pretty rigorous because our thought is that if they can put themselves through that, then they're going to be ready ultimately with our support to do the college application process as well. So it's a lot, but it's a really great preview for them about what's to come.
So you walk alongside them, helping them through that whole process?
We do. So we have 3 main programs that basically support them comprehensively. My background is in college admissions counseling. I owned a company for a long time doing it privately. Our other co-founder, Kim Phillips, she had a SAT prep company. And our other co-founder, Katie Kinsella, her background is in bilingual education and community engagement. And because of our background and our experience, we learned very early on that in order to not just get in to college, but to actually afford it and to be successful as a college student, you have to have comprehensive support. It has to be, you have to have support that through every phase of the process. And so our 3 programs are college access, and that's what it sounds like, right? It's preparing for and applying to college. So guidance around academic advising, summer planning, resume building in high school, and then of course the application and essay writing process for colleges. And then we have a program that's called our college affordability program, and that's financial aid, scholarship acquisition, financial literacy. We teach a ton of workshops around budgeting and like negotiating financial aid packages, and then we have a lot of parent engagement and parent workshops around that as well. There's a lot of concern, understandably, about the cost of college, and so we try to educate our whole families about how best to approach that process. And then the third program is college success. So when they're in college, it's simply having them thriving in college, having the best experience, and then building that professional path along the way as well, with summer internships and job prospects.
That is so great that it's so comprehensive.
Yes.
So low-income students, how do you help them understand why college is important and give them an idea that yes, you could go to college? I would imagine some of them think, oh, college, yeah, that's for other people, not me.
Right. So the best voices are our older scholars. So it's been pretty incredible to see younger scholars say, oh, I want to apply to NYU or University of Chicago because I met your older scholar who's there now, or who's a junior or a sophomore now, or I want to think about East Coast schools, or I want to go up to the Bay Area. So honestly, it's been a lot easier now that we have very successful older mission scholar students who can talk about the value of the college experience, and who can ease the fears of both students and parents that this can happen. It can be affordable if you take these necessary steps, right? If you work really hard and excel academically, if you apply to all of these scholarships, every scholar gets an individualized scholarship plan that we put together, knowing their academic profiles, their extracurricular profiles, their interests, all of that. They each get their own plan, and then we work with them to negotiate to get their financial aid packages. And so we're really proud. Every year we have a goal that 80% of their cost of attendance is covered by grants or scholarships. And every year we've met that. And this past year we actually reached 95%.
Oh man!
So this recent cohort, 95% of their cost of attendance is covered by scholarships. So when the younger students start to see that their older peers are not only getting these opportunities to attend, but they're not going to be saddled with debt, and they're actually going to have financial freedom after they finish. It speaks for itself. The program sells itself after that.
Gosh. And so you you start out by making presentations at high schools?
Yeah, for recruiting, yes. We're really fortunate that the counselors, the local counselors and teachers have they open their classes to us, and we have a few criteria. They have to be socioeconomically qualifies low income. So at least 95% of our scholars are on free or reduced lunch, and they also have to want to go to a 4-year, right? Mm-hmm. You don't put yourself through college application season and all of that work unless that's what you want. So that's something that we emphasize. And then they really just need to have shown evidence through their academic and extracurricular and just leadership potential that they'll actually really be successful in this with our support.
Gosh. Mm-hmm. And so Mission Scholars, you're a 501c3.
So yes, we are actually.
you're part of.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Thanks for correcting.
Yeah, sure.
So I think you said you're part of Santa Barbara Education Foundation.
Yes, we are
right?
a program of the Education Foundation. They serve as our fiscal agent. That's
okay,
correct.
So you're under their umbrella.
Yes.
So for all intents and purposes, you can accept tax deductible donations.
Oh yes, absolutely. And
yes.
we raise our own funds, and operate our own programs, and everything is independent. We just they are kind enough to, in the very beginning when we started Mission Scholars, to and they do this with several programs, but to give us the room to focus entirely on program development by serving as a fiscal agent. So we didn't have to worry about, a lot of the administrative headaches.
Wonderful and really smart on your part.
Yes, we got some great advice to do that in the beginning, and they were kind enough to and excited to support us, and our missions really matched theirs, and it just made sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so you collaborate with a lot of different organizations.
We do. Mm-hmm. We do. We collaborate with PEAK is a big one. So the very first year we started, the PEAK, the program for effective access to college, they're in the schools themselves. They're like mission scholars for larger groups of students, and they're at the time their executive director, Dr. Patricia Madrigal. She sponsored mission scholars with the school board, with Santa Barbara Unified School Board, and which basically allowed us to launch. It was amazing, and so their counselors and teachers have been really supportive, and we've worked with a lot of PEAK students. So we have incredible success with the PEAK Mission Scholar students. That partnership has been pretty phenomenal these past 4 years, and then we also work with the Scholarship Foundation of Santa Barbara. They, from the very beginning, have been kind enough to provide our scholars and their families with some financial aid guidance. And so we start with that, and then we expand on it with our comprehensive support for college affordability. But it's been really nice to have that program supporting us as well. And then, we have so many, but another one to highlight is we care a lot about summer programs for scholars to not just help them strengthen their chances of getting into college, to not just strengthen their profiles, but to also help prepare them for college, to be successful in college. And we have this amazing partnership with UCSB's pre-college programs led by Dr. Alina Kim. And that is a lot of people in Santa Barbara are familiar with the Research Mentorship Program, the Science Research Academies. They're 4 to 6 week long college level research programs in the summer. And our selected mission scholar students who attend get full scholarships for that. And so we've had students, they're off at University of Pennsylvania, Berkeley, NYU, Santa Clara, all these great 4-year universities. And I know that their experience at UCSB's SRA programs not only help them get into those schools, but they're thriving academically in the research labs and everything in college because of that experience. So those are the kind of partnerships that we really value, and we're building those more and more.
I love those partnerships and the collaboration, and that everybody's working from their point of strength.
That's right. That's what we value. We're trying to take basically everything that we know that a student who has the resources, who has the means, and family would provide their sons and daughters, and we give it to these students.
Oh gosh.
And it's what it takes to get in and to afford. So they deserve it.
What an impact you're making on so many lives and families and communities.
Thank you.
And so you 3 co-founders came together with the same idea at the same time, or how did that?
Okay. So we joke about this all the time. Kim Phillips, she is the local test prep guru. She and I, for many years when we operated our private practices, we would volunteer in local AVID classrooms or local community-based organizations. So she would do SAT tutoring, and then I would do college admissions support for local, first-generation college applicants. We would sort of fold them into our practices. And so for many years, we thought, this is ridiculous that it's this hard to get into school, that the system is designed so that anybody, no matter what resources they have, will feel immense anxiety around the process of applying now. So that part is, we bonded, we bonded over that. But also, we realized that in a town of vast resources like Santa Barbara and tremendous wealth and education, there's still immense inequity around the process of getting in. I mean, there's, in 2019, only 10% of low-income students in Santa Barbara were even qualified to attend a four-year university. So there was a real need in Santa Barbara, and so we thought, well, we might as well take what we know and figure out how to provide it to this group of students that really could use our support. And then Katie came along just randomly. I mean, she reached out to me and said, I volunteered for this organization down in San Diego that does college access. Would you ever consider doing something like this in Santa Barbara? And I said, funny you should mention that, but Kim and I are talking of that. So we got together and we just really connected. The three of us work really well together. We bring different things to the table. And in 2018, December of 2018, that's when we decided to make it official and go for it. So
good for you. And so back to the tax deductible donation question. Yes. So a person can go on your website and they can find out more about the program. They can find out how to, let somebody know that their child might be interested. They could make a tax deductible donation.
That's correct.
And that's great.
And they can also volunteer. So that's another thing that I'm so proud of. We have over 70 volunteers. We have folks in the community, local community and elsewhere, who are serving as mentors. So every scholar, when they go off to college, they get a college coach. And that is a mentor. Usually it's somebody in Santa Barbara community who has either had a successful career in the area that the scholar is interested in, or maybe they're an alumnus of the university that the scholar is going into, or they just, because we know our scholars so well, they just match. We just know they'll match with personality, so it'd be a good fit. Yeah. And so everybody gets a college coach. Everybody gets a college essay coach. So we have individuals in town who work one-on-one with our scholars on their college essays. We have career advisors. We have corporate partnerships with local and national corporations, and those employees will teach workshops on professional development. So if donations aren't your thing, which for some people that's not their thing, but if they really want to invest their time, we will happily accept that too, and that there's a way to do that on the site as well.
That is great. I'm so glad to know that. So we have a couple minutes left. Sure. I bet you have a story to share with us.
I have a lot of stories. I think what I can do in 2 minutes, I'll do my best to be brief. So I want to talk about the Contreras family. Okay. So back in 2013, when I was building my private practice and Kim was doing her test prep practice as well, we both started working with this young woman named Estefania Contreras. And she was incredible. She was exactly what we're talking about here. High achieving. First, her parents were from Mexico. She said her grandmother at the time didn't even know how to read in English or Spanish. And her parents came to the United States for a better life. And she was just incredibly talented and motivated. And we folded her into our private practice as a pro bono student. And she ended up going to UC Berkeley and majoring in business and also doing the pre-med track. She's phenomenal. Fast forward to 2018, we had a relationship with her, Kim and I. We really bonded with her. We said, Estefania, we would like to start this program because of students like you. You inspired us to start this program. She said, not only do I think you need to do this, but I want to help you build it. And she helped to create the college success part of our program. She said, here's, like you all know about getting in, and that's our background and experience, but here's what I wish I had had. Here's the support I wish I had had when I was in college. And so we built these layers of support for college students. And then a couple years later, her younger sister became a mission scholar. And Estefania took Isabella on an East Coast college trip And this is a family whose their dad had, when Estefania said, I'm going to UC Berkeley, he said, what's that? Right? He had just no idea. Here we are, many years later, they're going to East Coast trip. They're looking at all these Ivy Leagues and liberal arts colleges. And then a year later, as a part of our Mission Scholars Program, Isabella, 2 years later, she's now studying pre-medicine at University of Pennsylvania as a mission scholar as well. So, and Estefania is part of our advisory committee. She helps us to strengthen our programs and constantly focus on what matters most, which is our scholars and their families.
That is a fabulous story. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Cassie, thank you so much for all the great, important work you're doing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And
Appreciate
for
it.
being on the show to tell us about it.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on 805 Focus, and we'll see you next time.